Hi, I'm Alexandria Shuey, and this is my interview essay. This is Stacy Calfee, my tag teacher, and I decided to interview her. Okay, so first off, I'm going to start with some background questions. Where did you grow up?
Well, I was born in St. Joe, Missouri, but I grew up in a town in southwest Iowa called Harlan. My mom got a teaching job there.
So where'd you go to high school and then college? What'd you major in college?
Okay, well, I went to high school in Harlan, and I graduated in 1983, and then I came to Northwest Missouri State, and I was here for 4 years getting my undergrad degree, and I had a double major. I had elementary ed and early childhood. So I had a really good 4 years.
Okay, what other jobs did you have before the one you have right now?
Okay, well, I probably started babysitting when I was in junior high. And then all through high school, I had jobs in town, like I worked at a pizza place, and I gave swimming lessons, and I worked at the pool. And once I got to college, I managed the swimming pool, so I came back to Harlan every summer. I gave swimming lessons. My first teaching job was in a town called Mount Ayr, Iowa, which is just about an hour northeast of Maryville. And I worked there for 3 years. I really liked that job. I did preschool special ed, which I was not certified for, so I took some additional classes, and I went a summer to Iowa State. And then for 2 years, or I did that for 2 years, and then the third year I was at Mount Ayr, I taught second grade. I really liked that. And then I moved back to Maryville when I got married, and I worked over at Horace Mann Lab School on campus. I filled in for lots of teachers in the summer, and I worked in the 5th and 6th grade room. And then in 93, I got my job here at Nottoway Holt, and I've been here ever since.
Okay, so what's your job environment or atmosphere like here at Nottoway Holt?
My job environment?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's a really good environment. It's kind of crazy because I do 3 different jobs. So I'm not like a typical junior high math teacher where I teach math all day. I have math for 7th and 8th grade, and I have ACT prep for juniors and seniors. And I teach the talented and gifted people. And I have K through 12th graders for that. So my days are different. Every day is different. So it's kind of a good environment to kind of foster some creativity. It's helped me. Well, it hasn't helped me be any more organized because I'm not. But I have organized people. But I really like it's a nice, since it's a small school. It's like a homey environment.
Okay. What are some disadvantages and advantages of your job?
Okay. Well, there's always both, no matter what job you have. Probably I would say the advantages I have are that I can meet a kid in kindergarten and know them all the way through till they graduate. So, I mean, I think that's a really unique situation. I don't think many teachers get that. Even if you're in a small school, if you're the kindergarten teacher, then they leave kindergarten. But I get to see you guys through all those grades. So I really like that. I think that's probably my favorite thing. And that's probably why I don't look for a job where I would say just teach math all day. Mm-hmm. So I just love that. I think it's an advantage too of being in a small place. The people you work with are kind of like your family. Mm-hmm. Even like like your weird Uncle Harold, or the sister you're fighting with. But I mean, it's a really good support system. These people that I work with are why I've stayed here so long. Okay. Disadvantage, well, there are a lot of long hours. I mean, I think I got here at 7 this morning, but I knew that's what it was going to be like. A disadvantage is knowing a kid from kindergarten through 12th grade, because you get very, very attached. And so when they leave, it's really hard. It's hard for me anyway, when a kid graduates. And then I always think of them as that age. So when they're like on Facebook saying, "Oh, I'm getting married," or "I'm, having a baby," and I'm like, "Oh, you're not, you're in third grade." So that's the part that's hard for me. Every year it's a little bit harder to let that group of seniors go. But I think probably for me, the advantages way much outweigh the disadvantages.
Okay. What's the best part? What's the thing you love the most about your job? If you had to narrow it down.
Oh wow. This is easy. The thing I love most about my job is when kids have graduated and they're off doing what they really love, and they text me about it. I got a text this afternoon from a kid that I had, and just telling me what he was doing on, what he was working on. So that's absolutely the best part, when you see somebody move on, go through college, graduate, find a career that they really like, or just kind of get to explore their passions that you don't always get to do in high school. So that's really the best part, is seeing them just go off and be successful and happy and cool adults. I had a student who ended up being my financial advisor for something I had to do, and he was kind of giving me a bad time he was kind of teasing me, and finally I said, you used to have to ask me for permission to go to the bathroom. But there he was in a tie and in a suit, and I thought, I had you in junior high. You couldn't even tie your shoes. So that was really, really, it feels really fulfilling to see somebody.
To see them move on after in high school.
Yeah, it's really cool. That's the best part.
Okay. So what do you have for those kids that you've taught? What do you have, what advice do you have for them to go on? What to have in the workplace?
Oh, well, having good communication skills is really important, because you're going to have to communicate with the people you work with, and you don't always love everybody every day. So you've got to have some social skills and be able to work with lots of different people. I am sure that, when we get together, our faculty gets together and we work on things together, a lot of times people feel you feel kind of awkward if you were working with someone who has a different style than you. But at the end, you feel like, okay, that's kind of a neat. I've never thought about doing it this way. You get a lot of good ideas. So being able to work with all different kinds of people, communicating effectively. Also, I think things that'll help you be successful is just practicing that work ethic. You're here when you're supposed to be here. You do more than you expect to be asked to do. Because, I look back on, 30 years of teaching, and I think very little of that is about just the teaching. It's about everything else that I had to do, or, things that I never thought I would teach high school. So when they asked me, at first I was like, I don't want to do that. But and it was out of my comfort zone, but I'm glad I did, because it's been really fulfilling for me. So being able to be flexible, because if you I came out of college thinking, I'm going to teach first grade the rest of my life. That's what I knew that was the way it was going to be. I've never taught first grade, and I don't really have any desire to teach first grade. Because I had such a narrow view of, I'm an early childhood major. I want to just teach these little kids, and that's not what. I started with little kids and kind of worked my way up. But when somebody says, we really need you to do this, and in a small school, they're always needing people to do extra things. So if I wouldn't have been flexible, I would never have, got to spend 12 years with you. And I would never have done most of the things that I actually do. So, I think that's being able to roll with things and pitch in and, show some loyalty to where you're working, and loyalty to the people you work with is important. If it was a bad situation here, I wouldn't I wouldn't advise people to stay if you're really unhappy
Mhm.
or if you can't handle the craziness. My job's kind of crazy, but I feel okay with that. But if it's not your fit, then you need to keep going on and being flexible enough to find where you need to fit
And
in.
what you want to do.
Yeah.
All right. One more. So, what's the thing that made you choose to be this? You haven't really wanted. That's not where you're headed to. But is there anything that made you go towards this? What you're doing now as a job?
That's a really good question. I mean, I really never thought about that.
Mhm.
At the very beginning, when I got the job in 1993, it was 3 different jobs that I was to do, and I didn't know what any of them were. They said you're gonna teach tag, and I was like, I don't know what that means, and they had to tell me what it meant, and I thought I don't know the first thing about that, but I really wanted a job,
Mhm.
and I thought it kind of interested me. I thought, okay, well, I'm personally not gifted, but I want to be around people who are really smart. This will be great, and I will learn a lot. I think that's probably it. If I really had to boil it down to when they've come to me and said, hey, we need you to teach math, which no, I did not want to do because I wasn't very good at math. I didn't like math. I was kind of awful to my teachers about it. But when they came to me and said, they didn't ask me. They just said, you've got to teach math next year.
Yeah.
I was very scared. And I was scared of being around those older kids. I thought, this is going to be bad. But there was one little part of me that thought, maybe this will be the chance for me to become better at math. Maybe I can do it. And I think that's what it's been. Every time they've asked me to do something or I've had to do a job that was outside my comfort zone, I think I try to turn it into, hey, this is a learning opportunity.
Yeah.
And it was a way for me, when I first started here and I did gifted, it only went through 8th grade. And so when they went to high school, it was like all of a sudden they weren't gifted anymore, which always bothered me because I wanted to keep going.
Continue it.
So, but even then, even wanting to do that, the very first day, I worked over here with my high school gifted kids that I'd had all through school. I was really nervous. I mean, to the point where I thought, I'm going to throw up because I just came from, second graders or whatever group I was working with. And then I did the class and I realized these juniors, they're the same as the second grade. They hadn't changed all that much, except they got bigger. So that kind of made me think, okay, I can do this. But I think just I like a challenge, just for me, having to learn higher level math than, I sure didn't do that in school. I did the least I could to get by because I didn't think I'd need it.
Yeah.
That was really a bad choice. But now it kind of empowers me. So when I learn something new, I just feel more empowered. So, and that's kind of what I'd like people to do when they leave college or they leave school and they're going to enter the working world. Is you're going to feel nervous, like you're going to throw up, or you're going to feel awkward, or like there have been several days even now that I go, I have no idea what I'm doing. What did I just do? But behind it all is that empowerment of I can, whatever you throw at me, I can do this. I can try it. And if I fail, then I'm going to fail. But if not, I'm going to keep going. So that's a really good question because I don't think I ever have really thought about that.
Yeah.
I feel like I just fell into everything. But I don't think that's probably very accurate.
Yeah.
Because you just don't fall into everything.
Yeah.
But things have just kind of come up and it's like, okay. And once you do it that first time, once you step out of your comfort zone, when they come to you with something harder, you're more apt to go, oh, I can do that.
Yeah, it's easier and easier
as
it goes. Yeah.
Even if you can't.
Yeah.
Even if you think you can't, you're like, oh, I got this. So I think that helps with confidence. And I always like to learn something new.
All right, I think that wraps it up. I want to thank Mrs. Calfee for letting me interview her, and thank you.